Welcome back to pregame.tv. This is our continuing coverage. We'll be doing it all summer long, previewing college and NFL season win totals, teams to go to the Super Bowl, win the national championship. We'll give you a lot of future bets so you can find some value now. And we're going to take a look at the Seattle Seahawks. And I have, you said right before we went on the air, I'm probably going to get some hate mail on this one, talking about the Seattle Seahawks. But I got to look at what I see. And first off, Ken, when you have a team like Seattle, and there's no question, Seattle, they clobbered Denver in the Super Bowl last year. It was a game, I mean, you couldn't have played a more perfect game than they did. The team played great football all season long. They were the best team. They deserved it. At the end of the season, I think San Francisco was playing as good as them. But, you know, because of the injuries earlier in the season, San Francisco didn't have home field advantage. And I think that was the difference in the NFC Championship game. We know how hard it is to go into Seattle and win. I mean, I've never been there, but I've talked to people that have actually attended a game there, and they say it's just absolutely nuts.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the only team to go in there and do it was Arizona. Carson Palmer played a good game. They were actually outstated big time in the game, but they found a way to win. Defense came up big. But, you know, San Francisco, despite not having that home field advantage, I think should have won the game. I think they just, you know, you just don't throw against Richard Sherman in that spot there.
Just ask him.
Right, exactly. But they had 2 timeouts, a minute 25 or whatever it was. Kaepernick was running. And I thought if they mixed it up and he had time to run, you can't look and say a minute 25. When you have 2 timeouts, clock's a lot more.
That's
right.
an eternity.
And I think they actually could have came down there and mixed it up and just did what they needed to do and probably run the ball down their throat and used all the time and got in there. But it is what it is. And Seattle parlayed that into taking care of their 2 playoff games at home. And then, of course, you know, the demolition of Denver, which was surprising. That was mind-boggling. Not that they won the game, but that they destroyed Denver like they did.
Yeah, I was on Seattle, as most everybody,
right.
you know, was on Seattle of the Sharps that I know. But I didn't see that. You know, I thought they would win the game, but I did not see
nobody saw Peyton Manning getting held down to 8 points. I mean, come on.
What are your thoughts on the Super Bowl team the following year? We know history says teams don't repeat. People like to make excuses. You know, you hear they've got a target on their back every single week. Everybody gets up to play them. You've got situation where are they not as hungry after getting the Super Bowl the following year? Is it a case of, you got a couple free agents that were integral parts of that Super Bowl team last year, and maybe, their contracts are up, and because of their performance last year, they get the big bucks and they can't fit it under the cap and stuff? What's your take? Or is that all of it added together?
Yeah, there's so many guys, too. Golden Tate's gone. Other guys are, going to try and get that payday, like you said, that they ordinarily wouldn't get because they're parlaying that off winning the Super Bowl and being on that disciplined team that's so dominant that anybody from the outside says, well, if I can just grab that. We see that in the pro ranks, early rounds in college draft. When in doubt, grab someone from Alabama. It looks good, and the fans are not going to say anything because you're grabbing from the national title team. So again, there's intangibles that Jimmy the Greek always said. You got to look at this, look at that. The one intangible, and I know people are out there, they're going to go, what are you talking about? Russell Wilson, to me, was dynamite. Did what he needed to do in the games. But he's going through divorce right now, okay? And for you folks that don't think that's a big deal, that is a major deal when you are a young, good-looking bachelor with millions and millions of dollars and you're going on the road trip. He has not had to worry about that. He was the consummate pro that just went home, and he's been married since he was in college. And that lady has been with him since North Carolina State to Wisconsin, and now, so there's that constant there, and you didn't worry about off-the-field extracurricular activities. Now you've got every lady throwing themselves at this guy, knowing that he's single. And again, will he be disciplined enough to stay focused on the field? Because if he is, the team is definitely there potential-wise to win again.
Single, good-looking, tons of money.
You know what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to fight him off all the time.
That's well, you're not single anymore.
Yeah.
For that particular reason.
My face is not on a billboard at the Venetian. Got to check this guy out. Go to the valet at the Venetian. And when you're walking up the tunnel, girls stop and look at that guy. It's amazing. Yeah.
Officers pull up and go, did I arrest that guy back in the day? He looks familiar.
All right. You know what? Let's. This is my free pick. What do you say?
Marco D'Angelo, this is your free future play.
Yes.
Let's make it official.
All right, guys, we're taking a look at Seattle, and you can tell already I'm going under with this team. And one of the things, all the things that we just mentioned, obviously get me started that this team's not going to perform quite as good as they did last year. But let's look at the facts and let's look at the schedule. First off, when we did last week a future bet, we talked about the San Francisco 49ers. This is the toughest division in the NFL this year by far. You've got the two best teams in the league, I think, with Seattle. If they're not two of the best, they're two of the top 3 or 4 with San Francisco and Seattle. Then you've got the up-and-coming Arizona Cardinals. St. Louis, they've been a thorn in people's side for the last several years, and they had probably the best draft of any team in the NFL this season. So I think these teams are going to knock each other off. There's going to be a couple losses coming out of the division play because they're wrapped up so close. But let's look at the rest of the schedule, what Seattle has. They got to start the season as the Super Bowl champ always does, the Thursday night game. Well, who do they draw? Yeah, they're at home at least this year. Baltimore had to start on the road last year. We remember that travesty. But they start the season with the Green Bay Packers. And many people believe Green Bay is one of the teams that is going to contend for the Super Bowl this year. Last year, they made the playoffs without Aaron Rodgers in the lineup for a good portion of the season. And we saw what happened when he got back in time for the playoffs. And they gave San Francisco fits in that ice ball revisited. Then you go after Green Bay, you got to go on the road and play San Diego. Now, they're a better team than San Diego, but we know Seattle has had their problems in road games. They're away from that dominant home field advantage that they have. And if they get through that one, boy, the schedule maker's not kind, because I know this game's been scheduled for one team since the end of the Super Bowl last year, and they get to play the Denver Broncos in Week 3. Tell me that Denver doesn't have revenge on their minds. They go on the road after that and play Washington, and then they play Dallas. They're going to get a break with Dallas because Dallas's defense is just horrible when they get them at home. But then they've got back-to-back road games at St. Louis that we said is an improved team, and at Carolina. Carolina was a playoff team last year. Carolina, great defense. And Carolina almost beat them last year in Seattle's Super Bowl season. So you open up the first 6 weeks of the season, 4 of those games are on the road, and none of those road games are cakewalks. If you get through the beginning of the season and you manage to have a nice winning record, well, you got to get through the final part of the season. Listen to the way they finish the season. November 16th at Kansas City. Then they come home to play the Arizona Cardinals. Not an easy out, and that Arizona game is right in front of their big match with San Francisco the following week at San Francisco. If they get through the 49ers, you know that game's a war, much like that's the new version of Pittsburgh-Baltimore. They got to go on the road and play Philadelphia. And playing Philadelphia in December, you could get any kinds of weather there. Come back home and come back home after that, and you got the 49ers for a second time in 3 weeks. They're going to be beat up after those 2 49er games, and they got to go on the road and play the Cardinals, again, a team that's improved, and then finish the season with the St. Louis Rams. I'm sorry, I don't see this team getting to 12-4, and with the season win total at 11, that's what they got to do to beat me on this bet. I'm looking at, I think I'm free rolling on the number 11, and if it does go really bad and they're a 10-6 team, I cash the ticket. I think they are a 10-6 team this season just because of the schedule and the division. That doesn't mean they're not the best team. That doesn't mean they're not going to get to the playoffs and Super Bowl. It's just they're not going to have that home field advantage with that great, gaudy record that they had last year. Their road schedule way too tough this year. I'm going under 11 on Seattle.
I like it. I mean, again, a lot of things have to go right for them. And, I like Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's a good, solid coach. But, again, that division, and we look at Arizona, but St. Louis really, with that draft, that defense. Remember that defense last year when they played Seattle in the Thursday night game, held them to 125 yards somehow, with the backup quarterback. Seattle was able to get it done.
Inside the 5-yard line at the end of the game with a chance to win it.
Yep.
All right, there you have it. That wraps up the videos for this week. Fezzik and crew will be in on Tuesday doing the videos. My buddy Chuck and I, or Chuck, Ken,
Back to that again.
Back to that again. It was fun doing the horse racing videos with Chuck. You got to admit that.
I guess. I thought Eric Bedard was Chuck's man crush, but evidently he must be yours.
There you go. All right. He is Ken Thompson, SportsX Radio, Yahoo Sports. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo. We'll talk to you next week. Come back, Chuck.